told you that Donald Trump has a backup plan, you wouldn't be believing that as much. But this time, Donald Trump has proved again, said no matter whatever you do, until and unless you're not impeaching me from the US presidential post, you are not being able to cut me off from putting up the tariff on the entire world. That is what Donald Trump has been saying to all of us. Yes, earlier Donald Trump put up 10% tariff on the entire country out there in the world with whom they were dealing and have put up tariffs, beforehand. So in that case, now India was imposed by 10% of tariff. He came up with this one new rule after the Supreme Court verdict came out there, that in the section 122 it says that you can put up to tariff 15 when there is a national emergency or when there is some economic crisis. So on that basis, Donald Trump put up 10% tariff on the first hand, but today we are hearing that Donald Trump has exceeded it and increased it to 15%. That is the last number through onto which he can put up the tariff. But now there's also a problem in this entire situation and a loophole which Donald Trump will again solve. So according to this law, you can only put up tariff on other countries up to 15% until 150 days, which are what, approximately 5 months. And after 5 months, what is Donald Trump going to do? After 5 months, do you think that Donald Trump will be out of this tariff game and all of that? No. Donald Trump has come up with another law to reform another bill. Out here, he has taken out this one another law whose section 301 says that during the time of national emergency or anything like that, if you think the other countries are imposing tariff on you, if you think the other countries are attacking you in terms of monetary thing, trade and all of that, you can do this one thing. You can put up tariffs on them so that you can protect the economy of America. That is that one clause which Donald Trump is going to put up. But this time the major question arises is that is Donald Trump going to put up the entire thing in the Congress? And now the Congress will do the voting on this entire bill or not, because earlier where Supreme Court slashed Donald Trump down was all because that he did not put up the tariff bill in the Congress, and that is why none of the Democrats, Republicans, or should I say the entire Senate was being able to talk about it, look up to the side effects or pro and cons of the entire tariff deal and all of that. So that is why it all happened, right? But this time, let's see if Donald Trump is going to put it or not. So, firstly, let's just understand what kind of seat does Donald Trump have and where does he stand in the parliament. Okay, so basically, if you see in the Senate out there, Donald Trump has good majority. I mean, if I say Republicans are at a good verge and whatsoever vote they need, they are almost there. But the problem out here in the American law is there is this one issue that if you are a Republican and if you don't like what Donald Trump is putting up in the bill, you can go against it. I mean, it's okay that you vote against the motion, and that is how it can repel Donald Trump. That is where Donald Trump is actually feared. Donald Trump thinks that even if he comes up with a bill in the parliament, it will still be getting rejected only because he does not trust all the Republicans sitting out there in Senate. They can see, they can act, against it, because not a lot of Democrats, not a lot of Republicans like Donald Trump out there. So they can actually repel it and they can go and join the Democrats and actually vote against the motion. And in that case, in the Senate, if you see, the bill will be closed, or should I say, the pause would be kept on it. And that is where Donald Trump is fearing a lot, because in the seat of Democrats and Republicans, there's not much of a difference. I mean, the seat, I think the difference between both of their seats are approximately 5 to 10%. That's it. And that is where Donald Trump is actually being very much worrisome that what are we going to do. So that is why he came up with this new section known as 301. It was written in the old books, but it is very important to see now in this entire situation, how is India going to be affected? How is India going to act upon all of this? So basically, first we were imposed with 50% of tariff. Then when the 50% was reduced, we went on a path where we were imposed with 18% tariff. Then again, after the SE verdict and all of that, we went to 10% tariff. Now again, we have a jump of 15% tariff. Now that Donald Trump will put up the section 301 in the upcoming months, then there will be chances that Donald Trump is going to to increase the number of tariff out there in all these countries. So that is going to create a big massive problem out there for India and many other countries. And that is where people are actually scared, because right now we have done a trade deal between India and USA, and we almost have the control of 60% of American market, and we actually export so many things out there. And that is one of the few markets in the world where we actually run a lot of profit. So we don't want to lose that. That is the thing. So now this whole tariff thing, and then there's another thing which I told you in the previous video, which you should go and surely watch, that Donald Trump has not only put up country-wise tariff on all these countries, but also have put up commodity-wise tariff. So basically, if we're exporting steel, aluminum, how what will be charged around 20 to 25% tariff on all the commodities we are, exporting out there in America. In that case, if the first one, if the country tariff wouldn't work for Donald Trump, he can increase the commodity-wise tariff, and then that can actually create a problem. Right now, the market situation is fine, but we can wait till Monday what is going to happen in the market and all of that. But the problem is that market is not getting a stability. Every single time Donald Trump is making changes. One time it's 10% tariff, sometimes it's 50% tariff. Now it's 15% tariff. Now we don't know after a few months what it will be. So market is going through an insurgent's position, because out there nothing is stable right now, and nobody is, nobody is ready to estimate what can happen, how can this entire thing work for them and all of that. So because of that, we can actually face a lot of issues. And not even that, now there's also a thing like Gaza Peace Board. If Gaza Peace Board is not selected properly, if Gaza Peace Board has a problem with all of that, then India declining the Gaza Peace Board can actually affect, and maybe there can be chances that the chairman of the Gaza Peace Board, which is US President Donald Trump, he can actually impose tariffs and sanction on us for not being a part of that. So basically, anything can happen in the upcoming months. So we have to be very much careful, and we have to be in a very profitable business, because later we can also assume a little losses and all of that, because this is surely there. If you're till now not understanding the fact, then you're a fool. That Donald Trump will never ever agree with the fact what US Senates are saying, which US Supreme Court is saying and all of that. He is coming up with hefty ideas, and he will come with it. It is a crack thing which he is being imposing off. And no matter how much verdicts you put on him, no matter how much sanctions you put on him, he doesn't really care. He will again come up with an idea and still put up tariffs on every single country out there, and still try to should I say, what should I say, sorry, he will still try to assume, sorry, matlab, it's like he will still try to start the entire thing which has been going on. So that is how, this is the best example of all of that. Let's just see now what happens. How is India going to react on it? What are the preventive measures that we are going to take on this entire matter? And how is US and India market working after this entire new tariff bill coming out with us? That's all for today. If you like such geopolitical scoop, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe Global Shark. Thank you so much for watching us.